Chapter 423 The White Tigers Crisis. There couldn't be any more delays. Every Sol Engineer of the two large Sol Engineering Legions of the Sun Moon Empire brought along milk bottles that corresponded to their rank, each having at least two. However, the Star Luo Empire's Soulmaster Legions weren't equipped in the same way. Among the three empires of the Dual Luo continent, the Star Luo Empire was the most traditional. They were the ones who disregarded the development of Soul Tools the most. As there were too many traditional sects in the Star Luo Empire that discriminated against Soul Tools, the Imperial family wasn't able to advertise the use of Soul Tools on a large scale. It was only after Princess Juju interacted with the Tang sect that they decided to start using Juga Divine crossbow cannons. It was just that the Sun Moon Empire had managed to completely destroy the cannons on the western border before they could even unleash their full strength. Only some of the cannons in the military camp were able to have some effect. Seeing that the Big Dipper Duo was about to take Dai Yueheng away, the White Tiger Duke revealed a gentle expression on his determined face. While Dai Yueheng was a slightly haughty person, he had become much better after following his father for a few years. Furthermore, his cultivation talent even exceeded the White Tiger Duke's. With both Dai Yueheng and Dai Huabin around, the White Tiger Duke's lineage would definitely last beyond him. However, whether this national crisis would, Dai Hao lifted his head again after sighing silently. He had already made his decision. He could only make a choice now, and it was only by sacrificing his White Tiger bodyguards and himself that he could save those Soulmasters. War was brutal. As a commander, he had to be decisive. White Tigers, listen to my command. Dai Hao shouted. If the first Soulmaster Legion retreated, his defense here would immediately disappear. When that happened, his White Tiger bodyguards were likely to be killed by the attacks of the aerial Soul Tools, even though their individual fighting strength could compare to either a 1 or 2 ringed Soulmaster. As he clenched his lips tightly, Dai Hao took a deep look at all the brothers and comrades that had followed him for years. He tried his best to hold back his tears. After this short half a day's worth of war, there were only slightly more than 1,000 of his White Tiger bodyguards left. My brothers, I've let all of you down. All the commanders among the White Tiger bodyguards quickly gathered in front of Dai Hao to receive their orders. These commanders were also Soulmasters, and their cultivations were quite high, too. Dai Hao said, later, we'll need to cover the first Soulmaster Legion as they retreat towards the north. One of the leading commanders asked, Marshal, are we creating a diversion? Yes. Dai Hao nodded. This bunch of commanders kneeled down on the ground at the same time. Marshal, please retreat along with the first Soulmaster Legion. They understood the White Tiger Duke very well. They could naturally see the determined look in his eyes. Dai Hao smiled and lifted his hands. A strong force lifted these loyal commanders to their feet. Do you think those guys from the Sun Moon Empire will let me off if I'm among those who are trying to escape? More people can escape if I'm the bait. White Tigers like us cannot be cowardly, given that we lead the Northwestern Field Army. Are all of you willing to die with me, Marshal? All of them exclaimed sorrowfully. They weren't afraid of death, and were willing to sacrifice their lives for the White Tiger Duke. It was just that they couldn't watch helplessly as the White Tiger Duke perished along with them. We don't have much time left. This is an order. All of you should understand that no one can change my course after I've made up my mind. Go and prepare. After I make my move, all of you shall follow me. Quick. This bunch of commanders held back their tears as they turned around. Dai Hao's tears finally flowed as he watched their backs. He lifted his head to look into the sky and muttered to himself as he watched the soul rays that were coming from the sky. If there's a next life, I'm willing to be brothers with all of you again. I'm sorry that I can't protect all of you. He clenched his fist, and the veins on his arms became very obvious. His aura started to rise rapidly, and 9 soul rings rose from beneath his feet. The aura that he released was extremely wild, and even the Starsky Duo Yi Yilin and the other strong individuals could sense it clearly. Yi Yilin said coldly, the White Tiger Duke is going to go all out. Be prepared to unleash all of your strength. As he spoke, his body also shone brightly. A large amount of soul power was poured into his Sun Moon Divine Needle. He only had one goal. Kill Dai Hao. As long as this White Tiger Duke was dead, all the defenses on the western side of the Star Luo Empire would be compromised. Of course, he didn't think that the White Tiger Duke's presence could affect the big picture that much either way. Whether it was the Star Luo Empire, the Heavenly Soul Empire, or the Doling Empire, he believed that they were on the cusp of annihilation. This world already belonged to Soul Tools. While these 3 empires had started to realize this in recent years, they were still a little too late. Just as things got tense between both sides and the battle was about to reach its end, a strange aura suddenly filled the entire place. A rose gold vertical eye suddenly opened in the sky without any warning. It appeared between the 2 Soul Engineering Legions in the sky and the remaining White Tiger bodyguards on the ground. When it appeared, the soul rays that shot towards the ground would instantly be diverted away by some strange force when they came within a 100-meter diameter from it. These soul rays were then unable to pose any threat. Rose gold sunray patterns slowly spread out. Under the influence of these magical patterns, everything in the area turned weird. The White Tiger Duke heard a familiar voice in his head. Aren't you going to carry out your plan? What are you waiting for? When he heard this voice, Dai Hua was first shocked. After this, he immediately recalled something and revealed a delighted look in his eyes. He shouted, White Tigers, follow me. First Soulmaster Legion, retreat. The White Tiger Duke was the first to move, and he led his bodyguards towards the north. He led the charge and quickly burst into the distance. He intentionally ran very quickly and widened the gap between him and his bodyguards. He knew that he was his enemy's most important target. The closer his men were to him, the faster they would die. On the other side, the Big Dipper Duo was already tearing up. Dai Yueheng, who planned to save his father, led the first Soulmaster Legion towards the southeast. Figures rose roughly 5 meters from the ground and flew in that direction using flying kite soul tools they had already prepared. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to protect the White Tiger bodyguards and flee so far. Without the White Tiger bodyguards to burden them now, they were able to flee much more quickly. Dai Hao flew forward with all his speed. Given his abilities as a tidal duo, his speed was very high even though he wasn't an agility type Soulmaster. However, he found it very strange that the Soul Engineers in the sky didn't unleash their all-out attack against him even though he was fleeing at top speed. Even if the Starsky Duo's attack could cover a huge region, was he really so self-confident? However, the White Tiger Duke didn't know that all the Soul Engineers, including Yi Yilin, were seeing things quite differently. Just as Dai Hao heard that mysterious voice, the Starsky Duo and every Soul Engineer heard that mysterious voice as well. I come from the Holy Ghost Church, and I was tasked by my leader to assist all of you. I'll use a secret technique to freeze all of them below. After that, you can attack them with all your might and destroy them. A cold voice sounded in everyone's head. Even the Starsky Duo was moved. Even though he was normally a proud person, they were in a defensive formation formed by several hundred Soul Engineers working together. Even a transcendent Duo wouldn't be able to breach this formation easily. It was a combination of the strength of a few hundred Soul Engineers. Although this huge protective barrier wasn't completely impenetrable, it should be able to resist a few attacks from an ultimate Duo. This was also the strongest trump card of the 5 Soul Engineering Legions of the Sun Moon Empire's hand that protects the nation. However, the person with that mysterious voice was still able to transmit his spiritual intent even under such conditions. It showed how strong his spiritual power was. Furthermore, Yi Yilin felt a very familiar feeling when he heard that voice, although he couldn't recall where he had heard it before. However, he still chose to believe that mysterious voice as he had no other choice, given what happened below. The light released from the scarlet gold vertical eye engulfed the entire area below, and the entire White Tiger Duke's remaining army was hugely affected. All of them were disoriented, and their defense against aerial attacks weakened significantly. Yi Yilin wouldn't forego such an opportunity. He immediately pointed his right hand downward and shouted, all out attack. Soul rays immediately rained down. His Sun Moon Divine Needle that had just been fully charged unleashed a streak of golden silver light towards Dai Hao, who had exposed himself. Suddenly, there was a bloody scene below. Along with the coordination of the rose gold vertical eye, there was a massacre. Patches of bloody light shone, and lives were quickly taken. Only the defenses of some Soul Masters were still effective. Even so, they were still completely annihilated after some time. After Yi Yilin unleashed his Sun Moon Divine Needle, he immediately retrieved the milk bottle to recover his soul power. While his Sun Moon Divine Needle was strong, it greatly drained his soul power. He had already used it twice today. As a Soul Engineer, he knew that he had to keep himself at his peak in enemy territory. He didn't continue attacking. The White Tiger Duke would definitely be unable to hold on for much longer. As he recovered his soul power, Yi Yilin monitored the situation beneath him. When he saw the White Tiger bodyguards and the Soul Engineers of the Star Luo Empire's first Soulmaster Legion being killed, he felt something wasn't right. The vertical eye had appeared at a very weird time. If he was sent by His Majesty, why didn't he show himself immediately? Furthermore, why didn't he discuss it with us before he appeared? After he thought of all this, Yi Yilin was suddenly shocked. He shouted, stop. His voice was transmitted through a sound amplifying soul tool. The soul engineers from the Terraclaw Soul Engineering Legion and Evil Tyrant Soul Engineering Legion could hear him clearly. Soul Engineer Legions were very disciplined. They needed to coordinate extremely well within their ranks in order to unleash their greatest fighting strength. All the soul engineers stopped instantly, and the entire place went silent. Things didn't seem amiss below. Tragic screams and sorrowful cries would be heard. The remaining White Tiger bodyguards quickly gathered. The White Tiger Duke had already disappeared under the attack of Yi Lin's Sun Moon Divine Needle, and there was only a huge crater in the ground where he had been standing. Everything seemed to be very normal. However, Yi Lin felt that something wasn't right. Remove the barrier, Yi Lin ordered. The two Soul Engineer Legions trusted him. After all, it seemed like everything had been decided. It wasn't possible for those on the ground to attack them or fly into the sky. The two huge protective soul barriers were quickly retracted and turned into streaks of lights that fused with the soul tool behind every soul engineer's back. When these protective soul barriers were retracted, Yi Lin's expression suddenly changed, and he shouted furiously, "No, it's an illusion." Yes, he could immediately sense intense spiritual undulations the moment the barriers were retracted. If not for the fact that he was wary, he might not have noticed these spiritual undulations at all. However, these spiritual undulations weren't aimed at the ground. They were clearly engulfing the airborne legions. If that person earlier was helping them, why would these spiritual undulations be engulfing them? While a joint protective soul barrier was very strong, there was still one problem. It completely isolated the outside world. As a result, they weren't able to sense the strong spiritual undulations earlier. Once he discovered that something was wrong, Yi Lin couldn't be bothered with conserving his soul power anymore. His Sun Moon Divine Needle immediately turned and faced the rose gold vertical eye before firing an intense beam of light. This beam of gold and silver light immediately turned illusory and disappeared when it got close to that rose gold vertical eye. Initially, everything within the view of all the soul engineers completely changed. There was no longer a bloody scene below. Yes, there were many holes that were blown apart in the ground. However, there wasn't even a single corpse. The first Soul Master Legion had already vanished. After such a long time, they had already flown more than 5 kilometers with their flying type soul tools. The White Tiger bodyguards had also disappeared from their line of sight. The White Tiger Duke was nowhere to be seen. What left Yi Lin even more depressed was that he didn't know who had released the rose gold vertical eye. Given how strong that illusory soul skill was, it had to be at least the work of a tidal dueler who possessed great spiritual power. Chase them. The White Tiger Duke won't forsake his bodyguards. He must be over there. As he spoke, Yi Lin quickly activated his flying type soul tool and chased after the White Tiger bodyguards. Just as Yi Lin and the others were attacking with all their strength, Dai Hao discovered that something was wrong. He could hear tremendous booms behind him. As he turned, he saw the countless soul rays that were raining down on them, but these soul rays were still striking the original spot they were in. They didn't chase after them. The rose gold vertical eye was still flashing brightly in the sky. This was his doubt instantly turned into extreme delight. He understood that someone must have used some method to misdirect the two Soul Engineer Legions, and made them think that they were still in their original spot. When he heard that voice earlier, he could tell that it was a familiar one. It sounded like the guy who gave him the Sun Moon Divine Needle before. After he realized all this, Dai Hao didn't bother running far away anymore. If he wanted to escape, he had a lot of opportunities to do so right now. No matter how strong Yi Lin was or how magical his Sun Moon Divine Needle was, it wasn't a problem for him to escape the detection range of Yi Lin's Sun Moon Divine Needle given his abilities. However, he still turned back without any hesitation. This was because he had to leave with his brothers even if he wanted to escape. They would either survive together or die together. Dai Hao returned to his White Tiger bodyguards and shouted at the top of his voice, "White Tigers, run with all your might. Don't care about what's happening behind. This is our only chance." He just hoped that the powerful individual would be able to delay Yi Lin a bit longer. While he knew that it would be very difficult to escape with so many White Tiger bodyguards, he had no choice right now. At this moment, he saw a beam of light penetrating the rose gold vertical eye in the distance, and the aerial attacks on the ground had already ceased. After this, he heard Yi Lin roaring furiously before the two Soul Engineering Legions attacked again. They flew extremely quickly towards them. Are we still unable to escape in the end? Dai Hao revealed a lost look in his eyes. However, this was already the best result they could achieve. At least those from the first Soul Master Legion had left. There was still a glimmer of hope for the Empire. Dai Hao wasn't cowardly, and there was a determined look in his eyes. Just as he was about to fly up to fight his enemies, that mysterious voice sounded again. In addition, his voice now reached every White Tiger bodyguard. White Tigers, continue to run forward and enter the black doors in front of you. When you enter, don't act recklessly no matter what you see. This is your only chance to survive. Quick, or else it'll be too late. At the end, that voice sounded very anxious. Dai Hao was stunned and quickly turned around. He was shocked to discover that several pitch black doors had risen behind him. There were 12 of these doors. Every door was around 3 meters wide and 10 meters tall. They gave off a very mysterious feeling. The magnificent demonic patterns around these doors revealed a sinister aura. At this point, Dai Hao's decisiveness was revealed. He didn't hesitate and immediately gave an order. Enter those black doors in order. There must be no confusion. The best way to enter those doors wasn't just by running towards them. The White Tiger bodyguards had to adopt a strict and neat formation. The White Tiger bodyguards were already prepared to die. However, how could they not be delightfully surprised now that they were offered a glimmer of hope? If they could live, who would be willing to die? Instantly, the fit White Tiger bodyguards sprinted towards those 12 black doors. However, they tried their best to maintain their formation as they charged, and went messy as they made their escape. Dai Hao didn't leave. He rose into the sky. He had already calculated very clearly that during this short period of time they were offered, his White Tiger bodyguards would be within the attacking range of the two Soul Engineering Legions before they entered the black doors. He was not going to leave until the last White Tiger bodyguard was safe. How could the White Tiger Duke be ordinary, given that his subordinates were willing to risk their lives for him? He heard a sigh and subconsciously turned his head to one side. He only saw a black figure floating not far away from him. This person was completely covered in black and he was even wearing headgear that concealed his appearance. From his body shape, it seemed like he was a slender man. White Tiger Duke, why aren't you leaving? This man in black had evidently altered his voice. He sounded low-pitched and hoarse right now. Dai Hao replied, "I've never forsaken any soldier under me. Even if we have to retreat, I have to be the last man." The man in black asked, "Don't you think that's very foolish? You can only protect the lives of more citizens of the Sun Moon Empire if you are alive." Dai Hao laughed. His laughter sounded very free and easy. Of course I know how foolish it is. However, this is what White Tigers believe in. Even if I'm foolish, I have to stay true to this belief. I have descendants, so what if I die? Thank you, sir. You must be the one helping us. You must be the same guy from before, am I right? The man in black remained silent for a moment before answering. Are you really planning to be the last to leave? Yes. Dai Hao answered his question and his 9 soul rings flashed. All right, I'll stay with you. Then, the man in black sounded like he was in a bit of a dilemma. However, he also sounded very relieved when he finished speaking. Sir, you don't have to do this. You've already helped us enough. Stop talking nonsense and prepare to receive our enemies. I hope that your subordinates can run faster. As he spoke, the man in black vanished into thin air. After a few seconds, a rose gold vertical eye appeared 1,000 meters away in midair and blocked the advance of the Soul Engineer Legions. Initially, Yi Lin could have fired his Sun Moon Divine Needle immediately, as Dai Hao was within range. However, he was greatly drained after firing his Sun Moon Divine Needle twice. He had already started preparing other soul tools, which were still very threatening in his hands. However, the rose gold vertical eye reappeared before he could lock onto the White Tiger Duke. Furthermore, everything in front of him turned blurry the moment it appeared. The White Tiger Duke and his bodyguards immediately became very unclear. If they were so unclear, how could Yi Lin lock onto Dai Hao? He wasn't the only one who felt that way. All the soul engineers had the same feeling. Idiot, you are courting death. Turn him into waste. Yi Lin shouted. Countless soul rays instantly streamed towards the golden vertical eye. When these soul rays were still dozens of meters away from the vertical eye instantly transformed into bubbles and disappeared. However, its appearance had also caused the two Soul Engineer Legions to stop. Before the Soul Engineers were even able to react, the rose gold vertical eye silently appeared again in midair after the soul rays passed through it. What's going on? Even if this is an illusion, it has to be created by a soul master. Why is it able to vanish on its own just as it's about to be attacked, and reappear after that? What kind of ability is this? Naturally, they didn't know that this was what Huo Yuao was capable of after his spiritual power reached the concrete material realm. The rose gold vertical eye was created by Huo Yuao, but it wasn't just an illusion. As long as Huo Yuao was willing, he could make it real. In fact, all the illusions that had affected them earlier were created by this vertical eye. The greatest difference between the concrete material and concrete immaterial realm was that spiritual power in the concrete immaterial realm could only spawn a spiritual avatar that could detect and survey things, but not do anything concrete. Huo Yuao's spiritual power in the concrete material realm was an extension of his own body. Within a certain region, this extension of his body possessed some of his powers. Huo Yuao could retract this extension with just a thought. As he released and retracted this extension, he managed to slow the advance of the two Soul Engineer legions. Huo Yuao couldn't possibly beat the Starsky Delor in a duel. However, he was able to use all sorts of confusing tactics through his spiritual power and spirit eyes. On such a huge battlefield, capturing him would be very difficult. As long as Huo Yuao didn't risk his life, it would take a transcendent Delor to lock onto him with his spiritual power. Others might be afraid of Yi Yulin's Sun Moon Divine Needle, but Huo Yuao wasn't. His Sun Moon Divine Needle couldn't lock onto Huo Yuao unless the Evil Eye Tyrant King was helping Yi Yulin accurately target him. The best way of targeting Huo Yuao was a powerful area of effect attack or assault tool, and would also depend on one's own cultivation. However, Huo Yuao could predict things. Even in the face of such situations, he could still choose to flee. While his fighting strength wasn't anything much on a battlefield, his survival skills were much better than most titled Duo. However, using his spiritual power in the concrete material realm was still quite draining. After all, Huo Yuao was the only one apart from Ultimate Duo and those with the same spiritual cultivation who could use his spiritual power to unleash a soul skill. In terms of spiritual cultivation, Huo Yuao could compare to an ordinary spiritual type titled Duo. As the rose gold vertical eye appeared once again, things turned blurry in front of the Starsky Duo yet again. His expression also turned serious, and his fury grew. Given his experience, how could he not tell that this person didn't want to fight it out with him? They wouldn't have performed so many tricks if otherwise. Given the two Soul Engineer legions here with him, he was confident of fighting an ultimate Duo. Yi Yulin snorted and said, "Blow up the entire region straight ahead and between 500 and 1,000 meters away. Make sure the angle covered is 180 degrees. Find that guy." Under his command, all the Soul Engineers started to move. They changed their soul rays to soul cannons, and explosive shells quickly filled the air. Yi Yulin revealed a cold smile. "I don't believe I can't blow this entire place up and make you appear. You have to be within range in order to use your soul skill." The region he had ordered the Soul Engineer legions to cover was extensive. The tremendous booms that ensued turned the sky completely red. The energy storm generated from the explosions raged out, and terrifying lights flashed. Every time they flashed, the air would start to distort furiously. Huo Yuao had already turned back and fled the moment Yi Yulin ordered the two Soul Engineer legions. Yi Yulin was simply too vicious, and Yuao couldn't possibly handle such an attack. Once he was stuck in the explosions, his imitation was bound to be overcome. Given the abilities of Yi Yulin and all the class 8 and 9 Soul Engineers with him, Huo Yuao would be wasted by their advanced soul tools the moment his position was exposed. He had no choice but to flee. As the explosions ensued, 7 to 8 figures also quickly flew out from the two Soul Engineer legions. They advanced in different directions as they pursued the retreating White Tiger bodyguards. These Soul Engineers were some of the strongest in the Sun Moon Empire. Naturally, they understood what the most effective way to deal with an illusion was. They had caught a fleeting glimpse of the black doors earlier. Although they didn't know what those doors were, they could roughly guess that their pursuit would be unsuccessful once these White Tiger bodyguards entered those doors. They had to stop them from retreating. Huo Yuan didn't return to the White Tiger Duke's side. Under such circumstances, he knew that they could only prevail by surprise and delaying the incoming Soul Engineers. The White Tiger Duke was fearless even against the handful of Soul Engineers that were advancing towards them. He flew into the sky, and his 3rd and 5th soul rings shone brightly, bringing up his White Tiger's Badger transformation and White Tiger's Devil God transformation. His body instantly grew to more than 3 meters in height, and his muscles bulged. His dominating aura, along with his strong killing intent, welcomed the incoming Soul Engineers. Among the 7 Soul Engineers, 3 of them were class 9 Soul Engineers, including Yi Yulin. The remaining 4 were class 8 Soul Engineers. If these Soul Engineers weren't equipped with soul tools, they wouldn't be able to compare to the White Tiger Duke given the strength of their martial souls. Even if the White Tiger Duke couldn't challenge all of them, his strength was still close to their combined abilities. Advanced Soul Engineers devoted their energy towards soul tool research, and thus their individual fighting strength was pretty weak. Yi Yulin flew at the center of the group. The Sun Moon Divine Needle above him had also already started charging. He knew that the White Tiger Duke wasn't going to be easy to deal with. Without his destructive Sun Moon Divine Needle, they wouldn't be able to kill Dai Hao quickly. If the others were able to stall Dai Hao and he dealt the fatal blow, things would be settled. As for the hidden enemy, his position would immediately be revealed the moment he dared to appear. He would also be killed. Right now, both Sun Moon Divine Needles were charging. Yi Yulin didn't know that this strategy would get him into huge trouble. A figure was silently creeping up on him. In terms of soul tools, Yi Yulin was one of the strongest in the entire continent. However, his senses weren't any better than an ordinary titled Duo. While the person who was creeping closer to him was the Eye of the Asura, whose spiritual power had shocked even the beast god, Titian. Huo Yuan knew the goal of these Soul Engineers. As long as Dai Hao was still around, they wouldn't give up their attacks on him. To save the White Tiger Duke, the best way was to fight. Right now, Huo Yuan was following behind Yi Yulin. He didn't use any soul tools to aid him in flying, but his own cultivation. While Yi Yulin was flying very quickly, he still flew behind the other Soul Engineers, as he needed to charge his Sun Moon Divine Needle and locate Dai Hao. He was the remote point of their encirclement. Huo Yuan estimated his spiritual power. Under the effect of his imitation, he believed that he wouldn't be discovered even if he got within 50 meters of Yi Yulin. If he inched any closer, however, he was unsure of what would happen. Furthermore, he also believed that Yi Yulin had already taken precautions against him. The Starsky Duo posed the greatest threat to him and the White Tiger Duke of all these Soul Engineers. The offensive power of the Starsky Duo's Sun Moon Divine Needle was simply too scary. Many titled Duo were unable to handle the power of even a single strike from his Sun Moon Divine Needle. They only had a chance of escaping if they settled the Starsky Duo first. When Huo Yuan was 50 meters away, he stopped inching closer. Instead, he silently followed the Starsky Duo as he drew closer to Dai Hao. In order to not draw fire on his subordinates, Dai Hao had already flown into the sky. These Soul Engineers had no issue with the White Tiger bodyguards escaping. They were content as long as the White Tiger Duke was killed. As the Soul Engineers drew closer to Dai Hao, Yi Yulin's Sun Moon Divine Needle was about to finish charging. The other 2 class 9 Soul Engineers and 4 class 8 Soul Engineers acted at almost the same time. Without any exceptions, their soul tools were all control type. Light nets and powerful soul paralysis rays were unleashed towards the White Tiger Duke. Dai Hao's eyes lit up as he witnessed the incoming attacks. White sparks instantly flashed from his body. As his body shook in midair, he unleashed his 7th soul skill, his martial soul true body. Just as he was about to risk his life, something weird suddenly occurred. In an instant, the huge White Tiger vanished in thin air. While the Starsky Duo sensed a huge threat at that moment, 2 figures appeared behind Yi Yulin at the same time. One of them was Dai Hao, who was already in his White Tiger form now. The other figure was Huo Yuao, who was still dressed in black. It was too sudden, and Yi Yulin was unable to react in time. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.